So see Jim Riley, Tom Thurston, Trevor Rieger, Joe Zillig, Harry Race, Bernard LaChance, DJ Dave, Perlita Quinwan, Elton Anderson, Don Wiley, Jim Hall, Bill Duvall, Doug King, 1961, Oyster Cracker Man, Bitted Bat 4, Blue Boy Boxes, Robo Rapist, Night Red Randy, Red Gordon, and Ellery, and All American Antilla and Karen South Country and Western. You want to be careful because the land surveyor way. And as people understand what the land surveyor way is, you want to be careful with large cities and people because, people will start to figure out who comes in. And you got to be careful, African Americans, who comes in to, screw shit up on purpose, who has legitimate gripe, who doesn't. And see, when you're yelling and screaming like a moron, Perlita, and you assert that you're constantly God with Bernard and Charles and all of that, you want to be careful because when you run your mouth and you're annoying Team Yahoo and you protest and ruin everything and lie all the time, they'll give you, the people that, are going to pretty much pass away and die anyway, while you guys run your massive grift and lie in your story of all racism and rape and, of stupidity, Bernard, and your made-up shit and constantly fucking people over, Bernard of the Stolen the Rainbow and all the American Antilla and Joe, the people you screw over that are going to die anyway, man, they're going to give you it, and you can prove all you want, Bernard de la Carney of, supermassive religious psychopath, cultist. And then you can be rejoined, Perlita and Joe and Dave and Harry, Robo Knight, Ellery's, Whispering Beckett of Fairmount, your big old blue boy boxes of, boasting All-American. And see, the people you guys constantly screw over, Ghetto Life, Perlita, and Carney, Bernard, they'll leave you and they'll build you your little stolen rainbow with all your stolen stuff and your bullshit stories. So you can prove and prove and prove, Bernard, over and over and over again, Perlita, your lie and your delusion. And they'll leave you with the shit mess that you all created into the future. Understand how it works, Perlita? Because people watch, people know, people listen. And then you, Perlita, and the Negroes and all that in your team can profess to be the leaders of the computer system with the cowboy country and western and all jacked up and stupid and, they didn't want to listen to the other families that knew what they're doing and, steal their shit. Because like I said, Perlita, people have been around for a while, know some things. And so they know which ones come into grift shit, they know older stories, Ellery's made up shit, Ellery come down, cause trouble, thug shit. Avon Karen, catering, face mutilations, all that stuff. And so, if you're going to think you're going to be leader god of the earth, Perlita, and Bernard and Ellery, they'll leave you with what you created in the mess that you love so much of the Lacarni. And all the people you made sick, and, the bitted bat boys running around doing what they want, Beacon Street, Jamaica Street, Google Duncan, all that noise, the Indian fader, your guys' professed needed war of lies, nothing getting done. So they'll give you that gift, Perlita. Ghetto survive, all this shit, coming into neighborhoods, people treat you nice, parties, and tear up shit. And so those people who leave the earth, Perlita, and pass away, they leave you a gift of how stupid some of you guys' philosophy is, and like how Bernard LaChance sits there with his little robo-rapist friend and attaches to the white shirt or the blue dress or the green girl, uses women and children, does whatever he wants, fitness, tattoos, make-up stories, mobs. See, if you're that spoiled, Antilla Man and Ellery and Robo Knight and Joe, they'll give you the gift of what your spoiled attitude did, because the group of you will never admit what you did, Joe. But they'll leave you with the carcass of that, Whispering Faggot of Fairmount giggling, and the torture machine of El Cortez, Red Randy the football. They'll give it all to you, cheerleading hillbilly squad of hacking. Yes, at one point, sometime a long time ago, it used to work, but there was things a little bit different. But you guys didn't want to, respect those families. It was okay to bring in the Ghetto Survive and the torture machine. They'll even leave you the torture pit that you used, Perlita, that you guys profess with Ellery and, the massive grift of Bernard de la Carney. So again, Bernard de la Chance of Elila Freeman of a con man of La Carney, are you sure it's not your own, adversary coming down on you, maybe Kim, Bailey, Robo Knight coming in, clicking around, being a dumbass to show off of the All-American in the airplane, rockets exploding, massacres, no respect. They'll give you your rainbow African Americans because you ruined yours over there. Now you guys come over here to ruin one. So they'll leave you with your professed leadership of the comic book delusional Jehovah little baldy boy and all that. And he goes wave and goes Carney. Oh, look, I won. No. They leave you guys with the shit mess that you created, and then you got to solve it. Get out to work when you fuck over me and my dad, Perlita. And the DJ Dave. You're not the bitten. Get it, Harry? Get it, Joe, Harry, Bernard, Robo Knight. Don't fuck with my sister or my wife. But you guys decided to. You guys had to fuck. Heather! Holy Demenda! See how you guys are delusional nutters, Bernard? Supposed Jehovah Witness elder? No, he just really liked to use women and children and boys and hump them in while they were sleeping with the reason to poke in the needles and, they have to have the computer system hillbilly first. But guess what, hillbillies? It really wasn't ran by you guys at the beginning, or the Negroes. There were some other cooler people that you all destroyed. While Perlita of the ghetto life and the Robo Knight of the Jonestown and all that, and then Joe had that different plan for Florida, Texas, and the mobile homes, and do this, change this event to create this, build up the bitten, not the bitten. Controversy and conflict is all Joe's ever created. The holiday rapist, the rapist and murderer. And so those families you guys screwed over, Robo Knight, and your supposed egotist, as you supposedly claim to be the hero of the earth with your stolen stuff, with Perlita and Joe and all of them, and you guys profess that rape and murder is necessary, Perlita, Robo Knight, because you're a bitted fag. They can't understand the word no, and breathe, and just put it all in there for you. There's your prize with the Starbucks and the people that you screwed over with the teeth, and it had to be me first. This has to be Dave the Masonic boy, not what was actually worked for. The lives you destroyed in your war. That's what they give you, Bernard, an all-American, spoiled all-American egotist. Antilla Joe. Get it? Is it Joe Zillig or Antilla Joe this time? Which one is it going to be, Joe, Harry, Robo Knight, Beacon Street, Jamaica Street? You guys know why you're messed up? Mind grind because of Elton and their shit. They did the same thing over there. They do it, terrorists. So guess what, terrorists? If you want to be terrorists, they'll leave you with the mess you created, terrorists. And supposed Perlita's victory over the blue and blow up everything, because that's what we do. Perlita. See, there's your gift for being spoiled and annoying, Perlita, Karen, and Don. Country and Western. For screwing up Brian's stuff, my stuff. The Beswick stuff, Haley's stuff. The Bueller stuff. Joe, it's just you and your showboat running the triangles. If you're going to love it and you don't give a shit about anyone. Remember, Joe, your racism... And Harry Bernard, your racism, a hatred towards me, also it doesn't matter whether they're black or white people or, Spanish or whatever. That racism even goes to what you love and obsess over, Bernard. All-American. But not really. So, there's your tactics, your World War III tactics of intelligence. It's really mostly about the groups of you across multiple states that live in denial, and then the saboteur that comes in behind. I'm better at computers. I'm gonna do bitten and a bitten, and so you'll have a new fresh breed of inbreeds there for me to lazy-daisical, and it's really your rainbow bag of lies doing it all, and you'll go up another 19 trillion in debt. All-American. Because that asshole wants to sit there and copy and steal from everybody and consistently lie of his experimentating. But how come his experimentating didn't cure anybody? Because he was already trying to supersede other people, just like the Small Fry Knight and Ellery and their bullshit claims about how they ran the earth of all white purity with Stan and Joe. But see, Stan, it didn't work because guess what? you guys stole from Greg and sent it in that way and lied. And it didn't hold stable. Mine was one of them, and maybe Brian's for a little bit. But see, you guys wanted to introduce more conflict because you wanted to be jealous fag. So it all got torn out as soon as Joe decided to, murder the son that Greg protected. Just like they tried to do it out here multiple times. Your point, my point is, Bernard, Harry, and Joe, you guys come up with a bullshit carny story to make yourselves look important. So as the other people learn the surveyor way and watch the Negroes advancing on the city that's pretty old, and there wasn't a lot here during that time, they can tell the difference between those who have actually been families that have been out here for generations and actually know some things, and then those of you that just move through cities and grift and steal and make up shit. See, as they were, one line was trying to be put in, guess what? Dipshit wanted to be a badass and fucked that one up. And then the other line, and the other line, and then you guys involve the police and screw up their lives, or the military, or, the other people. So that's what you'll be known for, Perlita Jones of the Ghetto Cultish Life, and Ellery and Bernard, because your team bit it fat. And not everybody wanted to be bit it fat nasty with you, Perlita, and everybody didn't want your stench, Ellery. So you want to be careful before mocking and destroying and taking other people's children and trying to be like somebody else, Ellery, Joe, Harry, because that's the cycle people are using, and it's not the right one. But hey, as long as you got your mockery of Carney Machine, Perlita, right, is you're supposedly the most superior, smartest being to ever exist with your stolen shit. I don't care if my dad gave it to you or my mom, Perlita. It's a cop-out to not have to acknowledge what happened in the past. So don't be, if you're proud of being country and western and deformed and nasty and shit, and you think you'll evolve out through atheism, maybe in like 1 billion years, or maybe you guys should have just, followed some old lessons and like paid attention to what people had out here in the first place instead of coming up with your own religious nutter shit. But hey, Perlita doesn't like the Jews or the Russians. Like I said, I wonder why. Well, go back to down the dirt hole, right? Steal all the stuff again. Have fun with your made-up shit, Perlita, because they raped and stole it for it. And that's probably why they went insane down there, and insane as they came up. Because that's what Joe and them led. Because they seem to think that they're Israeli story of the Jews so he can go sit on the throne with Dave is the right one. They've always done the same thing. So go get on your Carnini there again, Red Randy and Bernard, and stare at the screen. But it's always been a con line, scam, and grift of the Jehovah Witness Bernard the Fag of a chance, because Bernard the Fag of a chance didn't want to follow the rules because he's chasing after that cross with Ellery and all them. And I warned you guys, don't do it. Any of them. Cultists, because when they first set the first stuff in, Bernard, you guys committed rape and murder there and all these places and fucked up your brains, nutter. The Germans didn't have your interest in mind, or maybe the Israelis at the time, Bernard, Ellery's, Robo Knight, or Spain, or any of them, because they were at the war. Same with Japan. David, get it? When you're annoying like that with Perlita and you're yelling and screaming and protesting about how fagged you are, nobody gives a shit, Perlita, because peace wasn't had yet. Understand? Dave, it gets fucking annoying when you do it 3 or 4 times with other people's shit with somebody's shit tube that didn't want to take care of himself. And we all knew this, but everybody had to cater to the crybaby. So guess what, crybaby Perlita? They're giving you your Google with the Robo Knights and your whole team. Because I don't want it, because you lied, Perlita. You're not my sister. You're not my wife. Joe tanked it in because he's a pedophile faggot. And that's what you'll all be, Bernard, because that's the bullshit life that you chose to believe instead of, real wisdom and knowledge and listening to other men that knew what they're fucking doing. Okay, Carney boy? So you got your Carney reward, Bernard, even though you weren't the ringmaster or the martial artist. You're just a delusional nutter trying to defeat something that was already proven. And it makes you a dumb fuck. If you like to be mutilated and deformed and impressed into a memory just so people will like you and revere you as a hero from a terrorist attack you all organized yourselves.